Have you ever wondered why, as you get older, your nights don't feel as restful as they used to? Why no matter how tired you are, you keep waking up, sometimes once, twice, even 3 times in the middle of the night, just to use the bathroom? Now, let's be honest. You crawl into bed, hoping for a peaceful night's sleep. You get comfortable, you close your eyes, and before you know it, you're wide awake again, fumbling in the dark, making your way to the bathroom. And when you get back to bed, it's not always easy to fall asleep again. The clock keeps ticking, your mind starts racing, and suddenly morning comes far too quickly. Sound familiar? If this has been happening to you, you're not alone. In fact, millions of older adults struggle with the exact same problem. But here's the part that most people don't realize: it might not just be your age. It might not even be your bladder. There's actually one simple mistake that so many seniors make every single day, without even thinking twice about it, and it could be the very reason you're waking up to pee at night. And why does this matter? Because sleep isn't just sleep. Rest is how your body heals, how your brain resets, how your energy and mood stay balanced. When your nights are broken, your days suffer too. Poor sleep can leave you groggy, forgetful, irritable, and even more vulnerable to health problems. Yet most people brush it off, saying, "That's just part of getting older." But what if that's not the whole truth? What if, with the right knowledge, you could take back control of your nights? By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden mistake that leads so many older adults to wake up again and again at night. More importantly, you'll discover simple, practical changes that can help you finally enjoy deep, uninterrupted rest again. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling refreshed, clear-minded, and ready to take on your day. That's what we're aiming for. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. If you've experienced these sleepless nights yourself, or noticed it in someone you love, go ahead and comment the words "sleepless nights" below. Let's see just how many of us share this struggle. And while you're here, make sure to hit that subscribe button to join us at Elderly Wisdom Tips, where every day we share practical insights and powerful tips to help seniors live healthier, stronger, and more peaceful lives. Picture this: you're winding down after a long day. Maybe you fix yourself a warm cup of tea before bed. Or perhaps you grab a glass of juice or water, because you've always been told staying hydrated is healthy. You finish your drink, you settle into bed, and you drift off to sleep. But a few hours later, at 2 or 3 in the morning, your eyes pop open. That uncomfortable urge hits, and you find yourself shuffling to the bathroom yet again. Sound familiar? For so many seniors, this exact scenario plays out night after night. And while it might seem like just an unavoidable part of aging, the truth is often much simpler, and much more avoidable. Here's what's really happening inside your body. As we grow older, our bladder muscles naturally weaken. They're not able to hold as much as they once did. On top of that, our bodies produce less of a special hormone that normally tells the kidneys to slow down urine production during sleep. That means your bladder fills faster at night than it used to. Now, add evening fluids into the mix, especially right before bed, and you've set the stage for a restless night. The bladder fills, the urge builds, and no matter how cozy you are under the covers, your body forces you awake. But here's the thing most people don't realize: it's not just about water. Many seniors think, well, I'm only having a cup of tea or maybe a little juice. That can't hurt. But caffeine, even in small amounts, acts as a diuretic, which means it pushes your body to make more urine. Alcohol has a similar effect. Even herbal teas or healthy drinks late in the evening can be enough to trigger those bathroom trips. And here's the misconception I want to clear up once and for all: waking up several times a night to urinate is not just a normal part of getting older. It doesn't have to be accepted as something you simply live with. In many cases, it's a direct result of late-night drinking habits. What feels harmless, like sipping on water before bed, could be the very mistake robbing you of the deep rest your body needs. The good news? You can start making changes tonight. Try limiting how much you drink in the 2 to 3 hours before bed. If you do feel thirsty, take only a few sips, just enough to keep your mouth comfortable, not a whole glass. And most importantly, avoid caffeine and alcohol in the evening. Even small amounts can make a big difference. It may sound like a small adjustment, but it's often the difference between getting up 2 or 3 times a night, and finally sleeping through until morning. Imagine how much better you'd feel after uninterrupted rest, more energy, more focus, and a brighter start to your day. But fluids aren't the only factor here. Even if you're careful about what you drink, there's another hidden reason your bladder may be waking you up at night. And it has to do with something many seniors take every single day, their medications. Imagine this for a moment: you take your prescribed pills in the evening, maybe right before bed, because that's when you usually remember. You swallow them down, you lie back, and you expect your body to settle in for the night. But instead of resting peacefully, your bladder goes into overdrive, and before long, you're making another trip down the hallway to the bathroom. This happens far more often than most people realize. Certain medications, especially water pills, also called diuretics, which are commonly prescribed for high blood pressure or heart conditions, are designed to pull extra fluid out of your body. They do their job well. But if you take them too close to bedtime, they're still working while you're trying to rest. That means your kidneys are flushing out fluid at the very time your body is begging for deep, uninterrupted sleep. The result? A bladder that fills too quickly, forcing you awake in the middle of the night. And it's not only diuretics. Some blood pressure medications, and even certain supplements, can increase urination as a side effect. The timing matters just as much as the medication itself. But here's the common misunderstanding: many seniors believe that the best time to take their medicine is right before bed. After all, it's a routine: you take your pills, you climb under the covers, and you don't have to think about it until morning. The problem is, that routine might be unintentionally sabotaging your sleep. What feels like good organization may actually be the reason you're up at 2 or 3 in the morning, sitting on the edge of the bed, waiting for your bladder to empty. So what can you do? The answer is simple, but it requires a conversation. Ask your doctor or pharmacist whether your medication schedule could be adjusted. For many seniors, moving diuretics or similar medicines to earlier in the day, say, the morning or early afternoon, can dramatically reduce nighttime urination. You still get the benefits of the medication, but without the constant disruption to your sleep. It's such a small change, but for some, it can mean the difference between waking up groggy and drained, or rising in the morning feeling refreshed. Because sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for your health, your memory, and your quality of life. But let's go a step further. Because sometimes, it's not just about what you drink or when you take your medications. Sometimes, the reason you keep waking up at night has to do with your bladder itself, and the changes it goes through as we age. Let's talk about that next. For men, one of the most common issues is an enlarged prostate. As the prostate grows, it can press against the bladder and the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body. That extra pressure makes the bladder think it's full even when it's not. The result? Frequent, urgent trips to the bathroom, especially during the night. You may lie down to rest, but your bladder keeps sending signals that refuse to let you sleep peacefully. For women, the story is different, but just as challenging. Over time, and especially after childbirth, the muscles of the pelvic floor weaken. These are the very muscles that help support the bladder and control urination. When they lose their strength, it doesn't take much. A small amount of fluid, a shift in position, even just lying down, for the urge to urinate to kick in. That urge is often enough to wake you from sleep. And here's the science behind it. As we age, the bladder itself loses elasticity. It simply can't stretch and hold as much as it used to. So even when it's only partly full, it sends out those time to go messages that feel urgent and impossible to ignore. What used to be a comfortable stretch through the night turns into one or more unwanted bathroom visits. Now, many people assume this is harmless. After all, what's the big deal about getting up a couple of times during the night? But here's what often gets overlooked: those interruptions don't just steal minutes of sleep, they steal the deep, restorative stages of rest your body depends on. Without that deep sleep, your memory suffers, your mood becomes more fragile, and even your heart health can be put at risk. So, it's not just an inconvenience. It's something that can ripple through every part of your well-being. The encouraging news is, there are ways to help your bladder function more effectively, even with age. Pelvic floor exercises, sometimes called Kegels, can strengthen the muscles that support your bladder and give you more control. Bladder training, which involves gradually extending the time between bathroom visits, can also retrain your body to hold urine longer. And even something as simple as adjusting your posture when urinating, leaning forward slightly or taking a little extra time to fully empty the bladder, can reduce those constant urges. These are small changes, but together, they can help ease the nightly disruptions and give you back more restful hours of sleep. But let's not stop there, because there's another piece of this puzzle that often flies under the radar. It's not just about your bladder or your medications. The food and drinks you choose throughout the day, especially in the evening, can have a powerful effect on how often you wake up at night. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Think about those little evening habits that feel so harmless. Maybe you treat yourself to a piece of chocolate after dinner. Maybe you grab a salty snack while watching television, or even warm up a late-night bowl of soup before bed. These may seem like small pleasures, but they can have a much bigger impact on your nights than you realize. Here's why. When you eat salty foods in the evening, the salt pulls extra water into your bloodstream. Your body then has to work harder to flush out that excess fluid, which means your kidneys are busy producing more urine right when you're supposed to be winding down. By the time you fall asleep, your bladder is already filling more quickly than it should, and before long, you guessed it, you're awake again, heading to the bathroom. And it's not just salt. Foods and treats that contain caffeine or sugar, like chocolate, coffee-flavored desserts, or even a seemingly innocent soda with dinner, can irritate the bladder lining. That irritation makes your bladder more sensitive, so even when it isn't completely full, it feels like it needs to be emptied. That constant sense of urgency doesn't care that it's 2 in the morning. It just wakes you up. Now here's the common misunderstanding: a lot of seniors believe only drinks affect bathroom trips. They think, if I didn't drink anything before bed, should be fine. But food plays just as big a role. That salty cracker, that sweet treat, or that warm, savory broth may be the reason your sleep is being stolen. The good news is, this is something you can control starting today. Reducing evening salt, avoiding caffeine in the late afternoon and evening, and cutting back on sugary snacks after dinner can make a world of difference. You don't have to give up these foods entirely. You can still enjoy them earlier in the day, when your body has time to process them. But shifting those habits away from the evening hours could mean fewer nighttime interruptions, deeper rest, and brighter mornings. So far, we've talked about what you drink, the timing of your medications, the natural changes in your bladder, and the foods you eat. But there's still one more hidden factor that often goes unnoticed. And this one has nothing to do with what goes into your body, it has to do with the space around you, the way you prepare for sleep, and the signals your brain receives when you lie down at night. Finally, let's explore something often overlooked: your sleep environment itself. Picture this. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Maybe you've tossed and turned for what feels like hours. The clock glows on your nightstand, and the more you look at it, the more anxious you become. Finally, you start to drift off. But just as your body begins to relax, you feel it. The faintest pressure from your bladder. It might not even be urgent, but because you're already restless, your brain grabs onto that sensation and magnifies it. Before you know it, you're out of bed again, walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night. This is where the science comes in. When your sleep is shallow or interrupted, you become more aware of even the smallest bladder signals. In a deep, well-rested state, those same signals wouldn't bother you at all, you'd sleep right through them. But when you're restless, your body treats every tiny urge as if it's an emergency. The bladder may not be the real problem here, your sleep routine might be. And here's the misconception I want to challenge: many seniors assume that because they feel the urge to urinate, it must mean their bladder is the problem. But often, it's poor sleep hygiene making every little sensation feel urgent. The truth is, if your body is in a calm, deep state of rest, it's far less likely to wake you up over something so minor. So what can you do about it? Start by creating a bedtime routine that tells your body it's time to slow down. Dim the lights in your home as the evening goes on. Step away from screens at least an hour before bed, because the bright light keeps your brain too alert. Keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and comfortable. Your body sleeps best in a space that feels calm and inviting. Even something as simple as reading a calming book, practicing gentle breathing, or listening to soft music before bed can make it easier to fall into deep sleep. And the deeper your sleep, the less likely you are to wake up from those small bladder signals. So, as you can see, this one mistake, especially late-night drinking, doesn't act alone. It combines with medication timing, natural changes in the bladder and prostate, dietary triggers, and poor sleep hygiene. Together, these factors create the perfect storm that keeps so many seniors from sleeping peacefully through the night. Now let's pause for a moment and truly acknowledge what this issue feels like on a personal level. Waking up several times a night isn't just an inconvenience, it's exhausting. Each trip to the bathroom breaks your rest, steals your energy, and leaves you dragging through the next day. Over time, this constant disruption can create a cycle of frustration, worry, and even fear. Many older adults begin to wonder, is this the beginning of decline? Am I losing my independence? The emotional weight can be just as heavy as the physical one. But here's the powerful truth: you are not stuck. Nighttime bathroom trips are not just an unavoidable part of getting older. What you're experiencing is not simply old age. It's the result of habits, timing, and hidden triggers, factors that you now understand and can begin to control. Instead of feeling powerless, you can shift your perspective. You can see these awakenings not as an inevitable burden, but as a challenge you can overcome with knowledge and simple adjustments. Think of it this way: tonight, when you prepare for bed, you have a choice. You can pour that extra glass of water, or you can choose to limit fluids a few hours earlier. You can continue taking medications late at night, or you can talk with your doctor about switching the timing. These small, mindful changes may seem insignificant in the moment, but they can be the difference between a restless night and a truly restorative one. And I want to leave you with this reassurance: your nights do not have to be filled with interruptions. With patience, awareness, and a willingness to adjust, you can reclaim the rest your body and mind have been craving. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling lighter, more energized, and ready to face the day, not weighed down by fatigue. That is possible. It starts with one change, one step, and a commitment to care for yourself. Because better sleep is not a luxury, it's a foundation for health, independence, and peace of mind. And it's never too late to take that first step toward brighter mornings. Let's bring everything together. To recap, the struggle of waking up multiple times at night doesn't come from just one cause. It's often a mix of hidden habits and overlooked details. Late-night drinking can overfill the bladder, taking medications too close to bedtime can push the body into overdrive, bladder and prostate changes can reduce holding capacity, dietary triggers like salt, sugar, and caffeine can irritate the system, and poor sleep hygiene can amplify even the smallest urge. But the single biggest mistake? Ignoring when and how much fluid you take in the evening. That one choice alone can set the stage for a restless night, or a peaceful one. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these patterns have you noticed in your own life, or perhaps in the life of someone you care for? Maybe you've already tried adjusting evening fluids, or perhaps you've recognized how a simple dietary change makes a difference. Share your experience in the comments. I read them closely, and your story might be exactly what encourages someone else to take that first step toward change. And if this message has been valuable to you, I invite you to join our community by subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Tips, a space dedicated to helping seniors and families discover healthier habits, stronger routines, and brighter mornings. Every day, we explore the practical steps and empowering knowledge that make life not only easier, but more fulfilling at every age. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. Stay strong, stay informed, and always hold on to the truth that restful nights and energized days are possible at any stage of life. With the right awareness and small adjustments, peace of mind and better health can be yours. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.